Another rejection at 62K for BTC. The CPI data came out. It was a little bit bullish, but it wasn't bullish enough. And what have they done on US Open? They sold us, and they're sending us straight to zero. No, just kidding. We got a couple of big levels here on BTC that we're watching currently. We got a short-term out bounce that we're going to be looking at. So guys, there's lots of setups here. I've got some big levels lower down. If these guys are going to send us down, you are going to be ready. You are going to be prepped. Watch the show. Make sure you're taking notes today. We got tons to talk about here. Let's get right into it. Always, if you are enjoying the content, hit the like, hit the bell. If you're not getting rinsed, hit the like. If you are getting rinsed, hit the like. We're going to fix that all for you guys. Ray is here. He's back in his bullish goggles, but the stuff's falling over. So who knows what is going on here at the moment? Banter Bubbles knows exactly what. Look at Phantom. We've had such bullish news on Phantom floating around in the corridors here at Banter. The research guys are talking about Phantom 7.6% up. I did buy some more spot Phantom earlier today. I think that's probably a nice little move. So Phantom could be something gearing up. Look at Aave, 9%, bit of a pumper. And Rune's doing well from yesterday. Hopefully some of you guys got that Rune pump yesterday, and now still looking good. So we got setups coming for you guys, and a couple of these alts have bounced in the short term now after that little dump. But let's just look at where we are currently with BTC. Bang! And look at exactly what these guys are doing to us. So I was talking about this earlier today on Sniper Club. We had a live session earlier today, and I was saying, I wonder if this little inverse head and shoulders is going to be a little gift here for us. Maybe that is going to be the start of some kind of recovery bounce on BTC. So right now, we're going to be watching this level closely. It's 59,500, the region. Okay, now they have pushed us a little bit lower. They did wick us here to 58,797. Okay, so we're watching this one pretty closely here. But 59,500, I'd love to see this little region now reclaimed today, and then this little grind higher. Okay, so that would be my first prize. Okay, but now they've given us this death candle. It's ugly. And if you were trading heavy leverage late into the CPI pre-pump that I warned you guys about, you've probably been stopped out. I got stopped out on one or two as well, but some of the shorts ended up printing quite nicely. So we're going to look at some of those. What is my next level for BTC? If this move is going to continue down, what am I expecting to see? Well, I would say short-term bounce here and then slowly just melt us down. Now, level number one that is interesting to me is 57,700. Level number two, which is a banger that I like down here, is 57K on the button. So that is a 382 fib. That is some big horizontals here as well. It's the anchored VWAP that I've been playing around with a lot lately as well. So that 57K looking interesting here to me. So if they are going to melt us down a little bit, okay, this could be the start of a little downtrend now on BTC. Look out altcoins, look out BTC. 57K is going to be the big one where I'm going to be looking for some extra longage, okay? Not like I'm not in a long right now on Prime XBT off this right shoulder that I'm going to show you guys in a second. But 57K, that's the one. A little bit lower down. Now, I did drop this in the poll, in the questions here on YouTube. Yeah, so just fill in the poll here for me. I just want to get an impression of your sentiment. Oh, the Bears. The Bears are in the house here, right? Woo! Let's actually hit this bullhorn for the Bears. 66% want to send BTC to 54K. Now that is a warning bell that we might actually just bounce here. So guys, let's just take this data and use it efficiently. Okay, so here we are. You've got your levels. You know your upside level 62K. That's our rejection zone, and this is where we are. Prime XBT, pretty much the bottom there, Ray. Look at that little banger. And off she goes. And just before we went live, I was saying to Ray, geez, are they going to come and melt us down here? But here we go. So we had a nice little banger off the lows here on Prime XBT, literally trading the right shoulder of this possible inverse head and shoulders. You can see there it is there. I had to go there in that zone, sniffing around in that area, sniffing around in a little reaction zone. And pop, says Mike Bishop. There we go. And so far, so good on that one. And then you can see I've opened up a little link position as well here on Prime XBT. And before we jump into some of the news, I just wanted to show you why. Okay, here was a little chart that I drew up for Sniper Club earlier today. Just dropped this in the Sniper Club and said I'm looking for this little squeeze setup here. And we were looking at Link dipping back into this region. Why was this a nice region? Trend, anchored VWAP, 236 fib. horizontals in play and looking for a bounce there. So now we are underway. We got a little link bounce, and you can see this thing is now tracking up slowly. So nearly got the bottom there. What you can do in situations like that, you just de-risk. So now I'm raising my stop, and this trade is now risk-free. Okay, so onwards and upwards for Link, and looking for some kind of rejection, I would expect perhaps in that sort of zone. So just exercise a bit of caution here. But yeah, a little bit of a bounce at the moment that we are tracking. Let's keep our eyes on that. Now, let's get into the juice. So we've had a rough week. Okay, as far as, market movers are concerned. Number one, PPI inflation. We've dealt with that yesterday. That came in good. The markets enjoyed that, okay? The markets actually started turning green in anticipation of a nice CPI print, okay? So now we've had CPI today, and it was nice, okay? It was 2.9%. They were looking for 3. We came in at 2.9, but I think the market is not happy because the market kind of wanted a bit more. Everyone's greedy. And CPI, so that came out, tick, okay? And tomorrow, jobless claims. Now, that's another one we can get shivers for. Tomorrow, there could be another market mover coming here. So definitely a little bit more action coming in the markets. And here's a summary of, in case you guys missed it. Okay, so July CPI comes in largely in line with expectations. That's cool. US CPI rose 0.2% on the month, in line with estimates. Okay, headline CPI inflation increased 2.9% year on year, slowing down, etc., etc. And let's see the final comments here. Final takeaway. The July CPI inflation report could give the Fed the confidence to begin laying out the carpet for 25 basis point rate cuts. I think we all know that. Okay, but the market wanted more. Okay, they were hoping for 50 basis point rate cut. Now the odds are maybe not looking in their favor, and that could have resulted in a little bit of a sell-off that we saw now. And we're going to look at that S&P in a minute because hopefully that thing is now recovering. But I did note that was at a big resistance area now earlier today. So we're going to look at that in a minute. And 𝗑𝗫𝗖𝗪letter just giving you a nice breakdown as to what is going on. Okay, July CPI inflation 2.9%. But it's much higher on basic necessities. Look at car insurance. Wow. Are you Americans crashing a lot? What's the story here? 18%. That thing's gone up. Transport, 8.8%. Hospital services inflation, 6.1%. Okay, homeowner inflation, you can see it's not pretty. Okay, it's higher than this 2.9. How manipulated is the current situation there? Americans, you can let me know what the situation is there. But Genevieve Roche, she says notable CPI categories July year on year. What is up? Shelter 5%, services 5%, housing 4.4%, fuels and utility 4%, medical care 3%. Okay, what has come down? Cars and trucks. Okay, airline, that's not helping, 2.8%. Gas, that's definitely helping you guys. But yeah, it's a mixed bag, guys. I mean, you'd have to tell me, the Americans there, if you are really feeling it. But I've got some bad news for you guys if you think that BTC has hit all-time highs. It actually hasn't, because Lark Davis said today the inflation adjusted all-time high for Bitcoin in 2024 is actually $80,000. Okay, so actually it hasn't made it all-time high. Okay, there's just too much money in the system. What is going on here? So maybe we are not all-time high yet. Just something to think about with the current situation. Now, S&P, what was concerning to me yesterday? Hello, sir. Can I help you there, sir?
BTC.
Is it ripping?
Not when ripping, it goes up. It's on the move. It's on the move.
We like it. We like it when it goes up. Long may it continue. Okay, S&P. So there were signs yesterday. Okay, they were pumping this S&P a little bit too hard for my liking. Okay, yesterday, and that was perhaps a warning bell that we might get some kind of sell-off. Now we have pushed into that zone, and fortunately, so far so good. So S&P has now turned green. It opened a little bit red, and now we are still in the danger zone. So just look out here. Okay, look out here. We could get a little fake out in that region, a little reversal here. So those of you who want to play the game, Prime XBT, you can short the S&P if you dare. Okay, you short the freight train, and it is here on the 618. It is on the 50-day MA. It is in an interesting zone. Market may be a little bit disappointed. Let's see how the day starts playing out. But look for a little late pump here. Maybe we get a little rejection candle. But right now, big resistance zone here, S&P for me. Exercise a bit of caution here, the S&P traders. I think, the downside is starting to look interesting here, 5,322. Okay, that is that. And let's get into some of these bangers. Okay, BTC on the daily. No real changes here. If you take a look at the bigger picture, we can see where we are. Okay, the levels are actually pretty much similar to what I've given you guys on the 4 hour there, but it's 57.5. That's the big zone. It's a big juicy zone. So let's not take it to the dollar. Let's just take it in this region. Okay, this obviously suits the spot traders and things like that. Nice little region there for us. And then a little bit lower down, we've got our 54K. Okay, so we know our 2 downside levels here. These are the big ones for us. And if we look at this chart, really, it does make sense to me that we could easily just dip into this level. There's nothing here, that's saying we need to now pump straight up to the highs and all these types of things. So just watch your zones, watch your levels here, be a little bit patient, and let's crack on. So dominance, this is what we've been watching now today. And we've seen these alts now bouncing off some nice little zones here. And I want to actually just zoom in because dominance is still sitting at our rejection zone. Remember, the rejection area is the area where the alts actually are going to outperform. And as long as this dominance is holding here or falling over, these altcoins that you are in aren't getting absolutely rinsed the way you could be if this dominance was pumping. So always a good sign. We've had a little pullback on BTC, but dominance has turned nice and red as well here on the weekly. So that is looking pretty much okay to me. And let's go to the 1 hour and just get a little picture as to what is happening now on lower time frames. And you can see they are trying to reject this. They are trying to send this guy a little bit lower. So nice that we've got some lower highs here. You can see we've got this downtrend at the moment. And as long as we can keep this type of situation going down here, these alts should be okay. In the next couple of days, we should be all right off these levels. The Danny says, if you think it's going down, I'll leave you behind. If you think it's going up, you will become bankrupt. Wise words, wise words. Okay, let's look at our liquidation areas here. So I just want to reset this now after that little move we had. And this is always a nice little guide for you guys. If you are, if you're day trading and things like that, this is always, it gives you a nice little guide as to areas of confluence where they could come and rinse you. And lower down, we've got this 57.5 down to 56.6. So that's a nice little area. That ties in with our charts pretty nicely. And then higher up, they can send us, look at this, they can send us all the way to 62,700. That would be beautiful. Can you imagine how many guys have been shorting now this little region? This is our 4th tap on 62K. Okay, the shorts are building up here. At some point, when we do eventually push through this area, there is going to be some kind of mega squeeze and nothing is going to stop this move. So just watch this area here. There's 4 taps on major resistance. We know every time there's a tap, we know there's stop losses sitting in these zones. Guys, when they exit, what do you do when you are short and you need to exit? What do? You have to buy it back. Okay, so what happens? They start buying BTC back and it rips the price up. Okay, so let's not get too overexcited here. All the bears. And Pickle says, must say bangers to my girlfriend. Guys, what's happening here in the chat? Who is here today? What is going on? I see 𝗓𝗓𝗏 says he wants to go to 35K. Come on, bro. Come on, this is a family show. What else? Matt says 35K. I hope not. He's selling worms from the yard. Then I think we'll all be doing something different. I think if we at 35. And Mia says up, down, up, down, up, down for the rest of the week. Probably not wrong. Okay, probably not wrong. Another market mover tomorrow. And maybe by Friday, we're going to say, oh, we're going to get a green weekend. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Steph says inflation sucks in Australia at the moment, I believe. And 𝗬𝗢𝗣𝗍 says he's put his undies on leverage, guys. Sometimes you need to. When you get in a good zone, you got to tell the wife, but it hit a good area. It's in a good zone. Okay, let's look at some stuff. Okay, let's not sleep on ETH. We've noticed ETH has been slowly creeping up. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you're not paying attention to ETH and you look at it every now and again, you can see this thing is grinding up a little bit higher, and ETH layer 1's average gas price keeps hitting new multi-year lows. Okay, the DeFi investor reminding you that the scaling efforts are finally starting to pay off. Is that going to help? I mean, ETH is looking good. If we compare this to a couple of other charts here, it's not bad. So for me, still pushing into this 2829 region, still looking for our little rejection in this zone. Okay, so we don't want to get too euphoric here until we start breaking through this type of region. Then we can start banging that bullhorn. But right now, 2829, nice little zone here for ETH. I'm sitting in an ETH position at the moment. I still have tons of limit orders lower down. I'm still waiting for these buys here. If we do get this little sell-off here, looking for this kind of buy into this area. So the limit orders are locked and loaded there. They're waiting. But I think ETH, a little bit of a dark horse, guys. But your big support, no changes from yesterday. Literally no changes. 2,480 to 2,340. Still a nice little area for me. So no changes there on sentiment for ETH. And look at this little bounce, Ray. I mean, this is amazing. Okay, look at Sol. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of setups right now, guys. And you're going to learn today why I took them, and you're going to understand. You can apply them yourself. And when these things happen, you'll be armed and ready to go. So here is Sol on the 4-hour. No changes. Once again, you know, this whole week we've been saying, no changes, no changes. Look at this thing. No changes, no changes, no changes. We've got our support. 140 on Solana. You could play that support until it's broken. Okay, here's your big level. So even if they do try and wick you down into the 139 zone, still looking for something over there for Sol. Okay, so 143 to 139. Until the support is broken, we can't turn that bearish on. Okay, so watching Sol, nice little level there. And notable today, we had a little fake out here of the trend. Is this going to continue? And are they going to give us a nice little another push here for Sol? So what I would say, just watch out 153, watch out 155. But overall, you can see we are printing higher lows on the lower time frames. You can see this thing is starting to push up slowly. And just notable here, after today's dump, it's held pretty well. And watching this, maybe we get a little move here. Could be a squeeze coming on Solana. So watching this, 143 to 139, nice little region, and then no changes. Be ready, okay? If they come down, if they want to come and end you, come down. 130, be armed, be locked, be loaded, and 130 is your reaction zone. That is your next big one that you are going to be waiting for. For HUD, I was looking at Aave today, and I was looking at a couple of DeFi plays, but Aave is one of the best performers at the moment. Nice one for HUD, and I actually canned the 2 DeFi that I was going to look at today because I wanted to bang out some other charts for you guys. And well, number one, let's look at Rune. So let's recap our Rune situation from yesterday. You can see overall here on the daily, things are strong, things are looking good, and slowly moving into a resistance band. So just a reminder here, guys, if you are long Rune, little bit of a problem up here. Okay, little bit of an issue there, 3.95. So I wouldn't be surprised, little rejection in that zone, potentially 3.95. But so far, nice little recovery bounce. And let's dial in again. And remember the plan. You always want to be looking higher time frame. You want to see where you are in the big or the grand scheme of things. Then if you're trading leverage, you can dial in and you can really start looking at closer levels here to start sniping some of these entries. Limit X. Are we going back to the Mickey D's? Okay, so that was MDX. That was MDX Trendmaster that I was using there. You can see Rune on the 4-hour. You can see it's in its uptrend now. They've printed a buy signal yesterday on that trend, and that thing is still looking good. So we are above our EMAs, our EMA ribbon there in the middle, and that is still looking relatively bullish. But my current plan for Rune, and what did we get? Well, we had a nice little bounce yesterday. Hopefully some of you guys caught this with me. Nice little pop there on Rune, and now I am waiting for lower on Rune. Okay, so my next Rune trade needs to be a little bit lower here, and I'm looking at Rune for around about 3.4. So looking for some kind of push just down into this region. 3.4 still looks like the most feasible region for a new trade for me on Rune. Okay, so if you got this one yesterday and you're still in it, let it be. Okay, you can put a stop under that candle now that you can see there, because this thing is looking relatively bullish now after that bounce. But if you're looking for a new Rune entry, for me, no man's land currently. You need to play safe here, and if you want to play safe, especially the leverage guys, 3.4 looks like a feasible area where you can look for a potential long on Rune. So 3.4 for me, nice little area there. And then remember, we've just shown you on the higher time frame chart, big resistance play, 3.9 region. You can see why it's the 50-day MA as well. So going to put you under a little bit of pressure there. So just be careful. 3.4, be patient. Remember, if there's a token you want to trade and it's not in your zone, don't trade it. Find another one. Wait for the next one, or just be patient. There is no rush. Okay, we've got thousands of altcoins. Okay, there are tons. If you're watching my show every day, you're going to see different ones coming up all the time, and there's no rush. So you don't feel like you have to FOMO into green candles and things like that. Remember, we've always got setups brewing on tons of these others, and there's always a game plan. So try not to FOMO in. You might be in love with Rune or whatever the story is, but is there a trade right now for me on leverage? Not for what I'm looking for. So I would suggest just play safe. be patient there on those areas. You want to play the good zones. Now, let's look at TON. So TON was absolutely ripping today and really starting to look good. So we saw we've got Injective now has officially integrated with TON blockchain. Okay, that might have been part of the slight bullish news there at the moment. And right now, you can see I've got Trend Master on there. You can see they printed an X, and things might be getting a little bit tired here. But what do I do like on TON at the moment? We have broken our big downtrend. Okay, so that is a great start for us. Huge downtrend has been smashed here. Huge horizontal has been smashed. So this is an excellent start here for TON traders. And now this is where we now hunt for good entries. Okay, this is the way we hunt now for our next pullback zone. And now we can see this thing is broken trend, looking bullish now. What do? We want to look for potential entries here where we can get some kind of this TON action. Okay, so right now, let's pull out our 236. Let's see where that is. And right, you can see our 236 is looking quite good. So for me, 6.64, okay, looking interesting here. 6.64, nice little region. If you're sitting in TON, that is support for you. Look how this ties in with this little region over here. So 6.64, looking nice, okay? Watch that area there on any types of pullback. And then 6.26, okay, watching 6.26 here as your next potential bounce zone. So both of these are relatively bullish areas here for me for TON. So if we get a little sweat out on BTC now and they want to come and tap 54K or one of those regions there, you might find TON sitting at about 6.2 when all the music is done playing. Okay, so look out, 6.2, that could be an interesting zone there. And then what is interesting to me is, okay, we can't ignore it, the 100-day MA, the 50-day MA, this is a big zone. And these two have just been broken. But now we don't want to get too hyped in this area because we do have a massive set of candles here. And we always need to zoom out a little bit and say, bigger picture, where are we? Okay, if we're looking for a trade, zoom out, bigger picture. And we can see there's lower levels here that we need to pay attention to. So you don't want to get too euphoric in these zones. But what you can do is start dialing in lower time frames. Let's just let's get this right. Let's wipe this chart. Okay, bang. And what we're going to do is you just want to identify levels of support here and where this thing could potentially go to on shorter time frames. So what you're going to do is I've got the 1 hour out here. You're going to just track a trend. Okay, you're going to say, okay, cool, I've got trend support. What else can you work with? Okay, I've got some horizontals here. Bang, look at that. And now you're building a little picture for yourself as to where you can maybe get a little scalp on this thing, or where, if you are long currently, where you need to exit. Okay, so if you're sitting in this position, you could look at it this way. You can say, okay, cool, TON is pumped, I'm making money, things are great, the wife is happy, and we've broken the 50 and the 100-day MA. If we start closing underneath that, maybe that's going to be an indication for you to take some profit there. And then ultimately, if we start losing that trend, this thing can start sending you much lower and back to those levels that we're going to be watching for BTC. So just be patient here with some of your altcoins. If you're sitting in this area, just be careful, okay? Might be a nice TP zone as well, things like that. Just play it safe. If you're looking for new scalper positions, you need to break these things down like this. And what you can do is identify short-term supports, short-term little areas. And for me, TON, you can see what's going on here. We've got support in this region, 6.84, okay? But now it's 1 hour support. And it's not as strong naturally as 12-hour charts, weekly charts, those type of things. And you can also just bang out a couple of fibs there, and you can say, okay, cool. Here's my first line of support. So I've got a nice little level here, 6.8. Okay, so leverage traders, if you really want to do this, 6.8. Okay, I would exercise a bit of caution here. And you can see rising trend is intact. Okay, if we lose the rising trend, this thing's going to fall over. And right now, you've got your 50-day, your 100-day in this area. So watch this closely. 6.8, you could get something here. Okay, easy invalidation here. We lose this trend, they send us to zero, basically. And well, especially if you're trading leverage, they're going to send you to zero. So this is my current situation here on Bybit. I closed my SUI short that you guys, hopefully some of you took with me the other day. That one is closed. I'm going to show you why I've closed that. I'm going to show you why I think there could be a bounce coming for you guys now on SUI. And I am still in AVAX. I had to re-enter AVAX. I got stopped earlier today in the flush out, but I bought AVAX. I'm going to show you why I bought AVAX and how I bought it. And I took a head short on Dupe. So Dupe was a hell of a brutal candle earlier today, and I just jumped into a Dupe head short. So this was just to protect myself in case the market wanted to dip a little bit lower. So that is my current game plan, and I'm trading this on Bybit. Don't forget, link in the description. If you want to win a Cybertruck, you just need to be playing or trading on Bybit. Okay, it's as simple as that. So every time you trade, you're opening a raffle ticket essentially for yourself. For a potential chance to win that Cybertruck. Okay, here is 𝗬𝗎. So hopefully some of you guys did take that 𝗬𝗎 short with me, and that is now closed. So I explained the reasoning behind this one yesterday, why we were short here, and now we have moved into our first major area where we could get a potential bounce. Now, again, this doesn't mean that the bounce sends us straight to Valhalla. Okay, this could just be a very short-term little bounce that we're looking at for 𝗬𝗎, but because of the nature of the situation, and I hit a stop on AVAX today, I thought, let me bank my 𝗬𝗎 profits on that short. So right now, we could easily see some kind of bounce here on 𝗬𝗎, but they could easily just roll this over, and this could be the start of a little downtrend there for us before we get some action. So 𝗬𝗎 right now, if you're looking for a long, if you're looking for a bounce play, 0.87 is an interesting little zone. Now, I'm going to show you how you can do it as a scalper trader as well, and as a degen, essentially. Well, what you're going to do here, you're going to zoom in on the 1 hour. Kenny says leverage traders are crazy. Guys, I mean, what do you mean? I mean, I'm a little bit crazy. I mean, look at this man. He wears goggles. Of course he's crazy. No, we are a little bit special. We are definitely a little bit special. You need to understand. You need to like be able to lose money, but you need to be able to make money too. It's a wild world out there. And okay, so here is 𝗬𝗎 on the 1 hour. I've broken this down for you. And where can you start digging around? So right now, you know, bigger picture, we've moved into a big little zone here. Big horizontals. This is an area where you take note, you step back, you say, cool, bigger picture, we are in a reaction zone. Let's see what we can do now. So you can zoom in. Okay, number one, like I've done here, and you can start looking for little notable areas. Number one is your 382 fib. That's always a bullish little bounce zone. Number two, horizontals. What do you got here? Look at these nice little horizontals. As we know, we've zoomed out on the bigger picture as well. We can see those horizontals are in this region. Number three, we've got the 100-day moving average. And number four, we've got this anchored VWAP. Okay, so now we've got lots of information here that tells us this could be a potential area where we could look for some kind of bounce play on 𝗬𝗎. And it's for this exact reason that I've closed that short, because I didn't want to sit now and have to deal with some kind of bounce on 𝗬𝗎 and watch that nice short that we took get eaten away. So that is why we are out there. And if you are looking for a long on 𝗬𝗎, there could be a scalper play here. So what I would suggest here, look for a little bit of structure in the zone, and ideally look for some kind of stop hunt here. Look at this. You know, these market makers, they love to come down and grab a couple of stops, but there could be a little setup brewing here for you guys, and it could be a short-term little move. So again, we're not going to chase the heavens here, and you could potentially just be looking for a little ride up to, say, a 618. So for example, you'll take your fib from the high. Let's go from the high to the low, wherever that low might be. And your target is essentially going to be a 618. Okay, that's going to be about one that you're going to be looking for. And then it could be as simple as this. Okay, little bounce in this region. They push you up and they reject you at that 618. And then they send you down straight to hell, to lower levels. So that is essentially how you could do that. So 𝗬𝗎 for me, bounce zone in play at the moment. You can see the regular RSI that I love to use as well. And that one is nearly at the bottom. So I would say watch this one. Keep your eyes on this, because you might still get a little bit lower, and that might push the price a little bit lower down. So watch that as well as your little guide. But you can see typically when the 1 hour, well, here's a nice example. When the 1 hour hit the lows, it did eventually bounce. This example here, it hit the lows, it didn't bounce much. It gave you a small little move there. In fact, this whole downtrend was horrific. Look at this. This whole thing was terrible. But we could see some kind of bounce here on 𝗬𝗎. So watch this one closely. I see Paul is all in on Dupe. Now, Dupe is actually on a nice level. Okay, it's actually sitting on support at the moment. So that is something to pay attention to. Now, let's look at AVAX. Why did I long AVAX there on the dump? And well, interestingly, JMO from Sniper Club, he actually gave us some interesting information. Now, AVAX has done some kind of deal with the California state or something with regards to license plates or something like that. JMO, if you're in the chat, just drop in there what they've done. Thank you, sir. This is true. Then I heard they did some kind of gaming deal. There was some kind of gaming deal. They made a ton of money in their first week or something as well. So maybe undercover play here on AVAX brewing. And I thought maybe we need a piece of this. And what I did was, well, again, same process. look at where we are on the bigger picture. Okay, you can see AVAX has got a ton of work to do. When things turn bullish, AVAX is going to give you 40%. It's going to give you 75%, those type of things. But right now, it's super quiet, okay? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what you can do when you go into these types of areas, you can zoom in exactly what I've done here, and you can see my current plan. So when we had that dump happening a couple of minutes ago, and unfortunately, it's a pity we can't get these when we're going live, these dumps. They always seem to happen a little bit early. But they started dumping us here onto the 20 level. Now, this was my 𝗓𝗢𝗑𝗏 pool from the lows. This was my horizontal, and this was this anchored VWAP. So when I saw all of these aligning together, that made sense to me to start sniffing around in that area. And once this thing started pushing a little bit higher, then you can add to those positions and let it start taking off. And remember, when you get a nice bounce like this, you can also start de-risking relatively quickly. So for example, here we've got a nice buy up. You can see this wick that they've given us there, and you can use that as your exit zone. Okay, so when you do take this trade, or when you do take these types of trades, the minute you get a buy-up candle like that, you can bang your stop under that candle. And then as the thing starts pumping, you can actually start raising your stop, to de-risk yourself. You can see this thing's turning green, and I'm talking to the leverage traders over here. And you can start raising your stop to de-risk as quickly as possible, because again, you don't know how high this bounce is going to be. This could be late shorters now getting cleaned out before they send this thing a little bit lower. So just protect yourself at all times, but a nice, easy little strategy here for you guys. And hopefully you guys are learning a couple of things here, and where we look for bounces and where we look for reactions. And for those of you new to trading or new to leverage trading and things like that, and you don't want to burn your own money, you don't know what's going on, what you can do, there's a couple of things. You can join Sniper Club, you can sign up to Sniper School, and you can learn a bit about charts, you can learn a bit about trading, and you can take advantage of all these things we do. And then if you want to learn to trade, you can try something like Bitfunded, for example, where you can trade with other people's money. And Bitfunded is pretty simple little process here. You send them $49 or $99, and what they do is they give you a demo account. Okay, they give you a $5,000 or $10,000 demo account. Stage 1, get 8%. You can see I'm in stage 1 here. This is passed now. Stage 2, make 5%. When you pass stage 2, they give you a funded account. They give you their money that you can trade with, and you keep 80 to 90% of the profit. So your only risk is going to be your $49 or your $99, and you're going to then trade $5,000 or $10,000 accounts, which they let you 5x leverage. Okay, so you can essentially get quite big size there on some of them. So if you get a $10,000 account, they let you trade 5x. You'll essentially be able to open a $50,000 position, and your cost, obviously minimal there, is going to be $49 or $99 if you're going to start one of those packages. So something to do if you guys are interested in learning about this stuff, and you can look at that. So Bitfunded, there is a link here in the description. Very simple. My whole shopping list is here. Okay, everything I'm using is here at the bottom, and you can see there's Prime XBT that I'm always trading on. There's MDX Algo that you can see, and then Bitfunded here at the bottom. There's 2 links. So it's a little bit tricky. You got to click on it to sign up. And then when you've signed up, then you have to come back and click on this Bitfunded link, open the challenge. Okay, once you open the challenge, then you are sorted, and then you are cooking. Hopefully you are cooking. Okay, next trade. We are still waiting for this. Who is getting tired of waiting for Tawo? I've been waiting for this thing. Ray, are you still waiting for Tawo? Have you forgotten?
I'm out of coffee.
This has been the longest wait in history. I've been waiting for this trade for so long. And Tawo, yeah, I mean, we're waiting for it. This is on the 1 hour I'm watching. And we're just remaining patient. Okay, let's watch the show. 261 to 259. I'm still looking for action in that area. Okay, there's multiple reasons why. But number one, we haven't even touched this VWAP, this anchored VWAP just yet. So we're waiting for this thing to dip a little bit lower, 261 to 259, anywhere in that region for me. I'm going to start sniffing around for potential bounce longs, pretty much the same that you've seen there on AVAX. Okay, there's AVAX. You can see that little reaction off that zone, the 𝗓𝗢𝗑𝗏, the horizontals, and I'm still looking for that from Tawo. So let's be patient. Let this thing come to us. We'll be fishing Okay, a little bit of fishing here, and that is going to be our first area. But you can see relative to the market, this thing has been slowly just bleeding out. And after a nice little pump initially, just like 𝗬𝗎, for example. So eventually they get tired of selling, and then they have their little bullish bounce, and then we can hopefully enjoy it. So for me, 261 to 258, nice little zone for me. And then if that region fails, now remember, it's part of trading is you're going to get stopped out. Okay, you can get stopped out half the time. And if that area gets stopped out, you need to zoom out again and say, okay, where's my next reaction zone? And for me, that is 223, 224, somewhere in that region where we're going to sniff around for our next potential longs. Okay, so Tahoe, nothing has changed here for this current setup. When we do eventually get that bounce, your target is going to be the highs. You're going to be looking at 310 to 315, and once we start moving on that trade, we're going to look at a little bit more. Okay, we're going to have a few bigger targets that we can play with. But right now, that is what we're looking at there. That is the plan. And then PopCat. I mean, this thing. Okay, I was gearing up for PopCat today because I thought, you know, if the market starts ripping here, and I wanted a piece of PopCat. So you can see this thing has also been incredibly rangy here. This is PopCat on the 1 hour that I'm watching. So I'm currently sitting in a trade on 𝗬𝗥, okay, on PopCat at the moment, but it's not in my ideal zone. I was trying to trade the momentum earlier today. You can see we had a nice little trend break, and things were looking, you know, things were looking okay. If you were dialing in to the 15 minutes, you can see this thing was relatively bullish, relatively aggressive earlier today. So I'm sitting in a position currently on 𝗬𝗥. Okay, I'm going to show you that one now. And right now for me, where's my high conviction zone? Okay, now that this thing might not actually hold, where's my high conviction zone? It's down here again. Okay, I still want to see 0.513 tapped for me on PopCat. So that's going to take a little bit of a market bleed out here for us, but 0.513. And for me, I've got, I think PopCat's going to run. Okay, I think PopCat's going to do things for us. Okay, I think it's going to print for us. And remember, this thing made something like an 85% recovery from the depths of hell. No, 166%. Okay, XRP must have done, I don't know, 5%, who knows? ADA, what, 9%? I know Sol did 47, AVAX did 39, those types of things. And PopCat did 165%, okay, off the lows, off the dump. Okay, that is why I like this thing. That is why I want a piece of this, and that is why I'm sniffing around, trying to get me some PopCat. Okay, and here I am at the moment. This is me trading this on 𝗬𝗥. Again, another KYC, no KYC exchange, KYC friendly exchange. And in fact, I'm getting one of the 𝗬𝗥 guys. They're going to join me on Friday. They're going to tell you what is going on here, because they are so much more than just a futures exchange. So quite exciting for Friday. They're going to come and talk to you guys and tell you what's what. Maybe we're going to get some giveaways as well. But right now, you can see I am here 𝗬𝗥, and you can trade isolated, you can trade cross, you can do all these types of things, and you can chart on it in front of you. And you can see I've dropped my stop. You can see where my stop is at the moment, 0.5495. Okay, 0.5495. If they come there and they tap me, I'm out. Okay, we're going to wait. We're going to wait for lower levels on PopCat, or we're going to wait for higher levels. So I'm not going to try and re-enter here. They must come and end me, and then we're going to wait for our levels lower down. So right now, that is my current game plan there on PopCat on 𝗬𝗥. And remember, no KYC. There are actually sign-up bonuses on this one as well. There are links in the description for you. Now, there's an exciting thing happening here. You guys were kind enough to leave your comments after the show. If you leave your comments after the show, you leave me some charts, okay? And yesterday, you guys said say, you said dot, and you said Pepe, okay? And I've got that locked and loaded for you. I've spent some time on them for you, and we can really look at it properly now, okay? So please do that for me after the show. Drop your comments drop your charts that you want to see me chart, and Ray and I will go through them, and we'll select one or two. And I quite liked your choices, because say is an interesting one as well. So let's deal with Pepe. And Pepe, again, we can't argue that this thing is bearish. We can't argue that this thing is not bullish. Okay, we've had a nice pop, and we are sitting on our 382 region, so no changes. This was the original box that we were looking at a few days back when I said DCA zones, spot buyers. We are still in the hot zone for Pepe. So on a big time frame here, this is the 12 hour. There's no changes for me. Pepe, any buyers down to 70, 705, anywhere in this box for me. Spot buyers, DCA, all these types of things. If this market starts cracking on, we know Pepe's going to fly. We just know. It's fact. Okay. And multiple 07. That is going to be a big zone for me, and that is a big DCA zone lower down. So we've ticked our box. We've got our 382, bang, and we're waiting on that 618. If we get it, great. If we don't and it runs without us, at least we're in something there off that 382. And Pepe's got work to do. We've got a target here, multiple zeros, 107. Okay, you can see that zone here. This is trend, 50-day MA, horizontals, all these types of things. So multiple zeros, 1075. Watching that one closely, and then you can obviously dial in. Okay, just like I've taught you guys, and you can start looking for potential moves here. So you can see what's going on. Pepe on the 1 hour, I've moved in close, I've moved in tight, and you can see we're sitting on a 618, short-term 618. So we pulled a fib from these lows to these highs. Short-term little 618 bounce. You can see we've got support in this region. We've got a rising trend here, and we've also got the anchored VWAP as well sitting in that region. So there's a lot of confluence here holding Pepe up right now. This is for the short-term degen people, okay? You know who I'm talking about, Bogdan and those guys. And that is your level that you're going to be watching. And then if we start falling over, remember, spot traders, margin traders, you just chilling, okay? You absolutely chilling because you're zooming out. And you're not stressed because you got an entire box here. You've got days, you've got weeks. You're just going to buy these dips into these nice bullish areas. Leverage traders, you're going to be squeaking in your seats while you're looking for longs, while you're looking for moves and things like that. But if you are doing that, here is your first zone. So you are in your first area. So ideally, you want to look for some kind of trend break or some kind of bullish move in this zone. So what are they giving you at the moment? They're just giving you a lot of rangy things at the moment. So you can see we are at this range low over here. You can see they're pushing it to the range high. So potentially you could just look at this like that. Look for a little push into that zone, potentially off that region. And your invalidation is so clean. Your invalidation is so easy here because you're looking at candle closes under multiple zeros, 789. So if this candle starts drifting lower and they start pushing you, again, look out for the stop hunt in this region. We know they love to come and take your stops. So look out for a move like that where they sweat you out of that zone, and then look out for that pump out of that region. So invalidation would be a candle close under the 789 region. If you don't get that candle close under, you know what to do. You're just going to bang your stop under that wick, and then you're going to let that thing start pushing higher for you. So play safe here, okay? There are things in your favor. Rising trend, 618s, anchored VWAPs, horizontals. There's a lot here holding Pepe up. If you lose it, you know what to do. You've got the plan. And spot traders, you just chill, okay? You're just relaxing. Okay, Totem says he likes 𝗖. The problem is big unlocks from initial investors starting end of the month. Okay. Very good point here, and let's pay attention to 𝗖. So thanks whoever dropped that in the comments for us. Thank you for dropping 𝗖. This was one that I've been meaning to look at because we've seen Sui and 𝗖 like to run together, and well, as you know, they both have. So 𝗖 says we bump, says 𝗖 TVL total value locked almost reached 400 million 𝗖. He says we are fucking bumping. Okay, I don't know what he's trying to say here, Ray, but he's bumping. And look at the chart. I mean, this is quite a bullish chart, okay, if you like this type of thing. And then we've got 𝗝𝗅, hot researcher as well. And he says daily active users for any project is very important. He likes it. Okay, 𝗖, daily active user 30-day growth is 236%. Okay, nice little bit of information there from 𝗝𝗅. And let's zoom out, okay? Big picture, what are we looking at? So not great, okay? Sitting at resistance, so we got trend pressure. And we can see that. So we are at a potential reaction zone here, potential rejection area here for 𝗖. So we're just going to be a little bit cautious here, but we can see if we do start cracking this trend and we start breaking big resistance in front of us, that's going to be the 50-day MA, that's going to be the trend, that's going to be the horizontals. We start blowing that type of region, then we can actually start getting a little bit more aggressive on this thing. So I would say, if you're looking at this from a spot perspective and things like that, let this thing play out a little bit. Let's get that trend break there. There's no rush. Okay, let's get the trend break. Let's take our time. Let's clear that 50-day MA. Then we can start looking for buys with support under those type of levels. So that could be quite fun eventually. And then what I've done here for 𝗖 is I've done the same trick. Okay, I've now zoomed in on the 1 hour. This is some order blocks. So I'm using MDX Algo here. These are order blocks in the way. So I often use order blocks just to add to some confluence for me. And MDX Algo gives me some order blocks that I can play with. So you can see right now, I'm highlighting a couple of levels. And number one, you can see I've done my fib pool. So I'm looking for my horizontals. I'm looking for my reaction zones. And we're going to highlight these now. You can see I've got horizontals here in play. Look at this nice little wick here, previous resistance, okay, looking nice. So if we do get this bleed out, what are we looking for? We're looking for some kind of structure here, maybe a little stop hunt in that region, and then some kind of pump. So for me, say 0.271, looking interesting here for the leverage guys, okay? 0.271, looking spicy in that region. Let it move to that region. So there's no rush now, okay? You can see, based on what we're looking at now, there is a level, okay? But it's not the type of level that I'm looking for, okay? For me, these alts tend to bounce off big fibs, 382s, 618s. And if they're not on those zones, I tend to steer away. So for me, I'm looking for lower, 0.27. Look for a reaction, 0.27. Look for some kind of move down there. And then the exact same game plan I've shown you on all of these things. If these areas fail, okay, you kick back, you relax, okay, you wait, and you let this thing bleed out lower, okay? Or alternatively, if this thing starts ripping, you're going to pick it up later on somewhere there, okay? We're going to pick it up on some kind of trend break. Later on, you'll find there's going to be some kind of structure there, and we can always trade this thing later on. Remember, you can trade momentum. Momentum trading is great. Okay, you'll feel the market just feels different. Things start pushing. You start jumping into alts wherever you want, willy-nilly, and things start firing off. We do get those type of moments, and just be patient there. So we can always trade momentum. But the brave ones, you're trading these bearish situations where everyone's hating crypto, everyone's trying to bail. Those, for me, are the best entries that you can get. The momentum ones and the trend breaks, they're fun. They're fun. But you know, I like these moves a little bit deeper, a little bit lower down. Okay, and then we've got a special mention for DOT. You guys asked for DOT, and you know what? Another interesting play is Moon River on DOT. I was looking at that chart the other day on the weekly. That thing looked like dog shit as well, but that could have some kind of recovery play if it looks anything like this. I mean, look at this thing. Do you really still want to have DOT if this is what the chart looks like? I mean, it's pretty offensive to me right now. But you can see DOT is like basically all-time lows here. This thing was launched in 2020. Okay, I remember this thing. I remember like Ivan on Tech and those guys talking about DOT back here. And geez, I mean, look, it had a beautiful run, but now we've done a full retrace here on DOT. So weekly support, DOT traders, big level, 3.74, can't deny it, okay? Massive area here for DOT traders. If you're holding tons of bags of DOT, okay, 4.7 is where you're at. That is your big support that you're going to be watching. If you start, 3.7. If you're going to start losing this 3.7, then I'm afraid you're going to help. Okay, you potentially going to zero. I mean, here's zero here on the chart, and maybe it's going to go to zero. Maybe they're going to be the ultimate rug and send you guys to hell. So I would watch the 3.7 very closely. That is your big support. You don't want to lose that. Okay, and it could be, I mean, fair enough. If the market bounces, there could be a fair bounce on DOT. And where could they take us? Number one, they could take us 67% up. That's to 6.6. Number two, I wouldn't say it's unreasonable. 100% play on DOT to 8.5, okay? But you got to hold the major weekly support. The market has to turn bullish. For DOT to go up to 8.7, you need Bitcoin at all-time highs. You need Bitcoin breaking big levels, okay? DOT's not going to go to 6.7. DOT's not going to go to 8.7 without BTC breaching 70K and those type of things. So just make sure you know what is what. And Mia says FTM would be good. Mia, I bought FTM today. Okay, so FTM looking okay from a spot perspective, from a news perspective, from what the researchers are saying. FTM actually sounds okay to me. I bought it on spot. The chart looks pretty similar to AVAX. It looks pretty similar to a lot of these other layer one type charts. And I think FTM, when the market runs, FTM is going to run. I have no doubt it will start moving. So if you like FTM, if you like what's behind it and things like that, like I do, I grab some spot, and not the worst place that you can buy FTM at these type of levels, these type of lows. Remember, it's like a long-term play here. It's not like a quick little trade that you're looking for. That was fun. I hope you guys are learning tons of things here. I'm enjoying showing you all of this stuff. You've got now levels. You teed up. You know where these things could be going down. You locked and loaded for Bitcoin. We got another news event tomorrow, the unemployment data, and another market mover. Okay, S&P at resistance. Play safe. Okay, we've lost BTC. We could be in a downtrend now on BTC, so play it accordingly. Okay, if we've lost a level on BTC, we could be in a situation where they are now downtrending us and giving us a little bit more pain. So tighten up the stops if you're playing those bounces. You know the drill. Looking forward to tomorrow. Same time, same place. Later.